In this video here, we're going to do a samurai fighting technique from Muhyoshi Ryu. Now, as they cut down with Kirioroshi, I want to block with the sword going to my left as I'm blocking with the mune. As I step in, I'm going to turn in this way, pushing their blade to the right. And from here, I can either cut or stab, depending on the distance.
Right everyone, here we are going to talk about Muhyoshi Ryu. Now, this is actually a Shinjin Ryu technique, okay? This is from the school Shinjin Ryu, but we have an overarching name of Muhyoshi Ryu because that is the family. It's from the Hagihara family. So to make things not too complicated, Hagihara sensei from the 1600s studied both Shinjin Ryu and Muhyoshi Ryu and formed his own school. Well, he studied Shinjin Ryu and formed his own school of Muhyoshi Ryu. But he also studied Shinjin Ryu. Now, I'm going to talk you through this technique, but here we've got Neil Hurst from England, and you've just seen Johnny Brown, and we've had Jeff from America. And of course, we had Krista Jacobson from Budo Ryu introducing the video there. So this, bizarrely, is, I know we've called it a Muhyoshi technique, but it's actually a Shinjin Ryu technique. Now, for you to understand, the family is called Hagihara, and they're the Hagihara family. And Hagihara studied Shinjin Ryu from Niki Shinjudo. And he then formed his own school called Muhyoshi Ryu. So these techniques often intermix. So we've labelled this under Muhyoshi Ryu. But just for the aficionados of Japanese swordsmanship out there, this is technically Shinjin Ryu. So the idea is a wakizashi technique, and you're blocking with the back of the mune, parrying, and then either stabbing or cutting. Now, it doesn't say, it's a very, very, very short text with an illustration in it. That's all. This has been reconstructed from an illustration and literally a sentence. So we can't guarantee this is perfect or, accurate to the original. But this is as best as we've got from the short information we have. So let me tell you a little bit about how we got here from our scrolls. Just before I tell you more about the technique, you can get the Book of Bushido now on Audible. Right guys, I'm going to go through how we got there, but basically wait around because I've got Nick from America showing some of the skills. But all we got from this text is double-handed strike, presumably from the enemy with a longer sword, and that you have to block and that you have to quick parry. It's a quick parry, and then it comes with basically an illustration which shows the blade like this with almost mune on. Again, it's a medieval drawing, so it's a very much interpretation of perception, but it looks like mune on and then mune off and then strike. So in actual fact, the technique would be something like, and so it's almost a fencing technique. So your wakizashi, the guy's coming in, block, twist, cut, Now, the more and more I've been studying real documents from the past, the more and more it's becoming obvious that most of it is right foot forward and moving in this crab-like movement. Now, most people we do with Iaido today and kenjutsu will strike in and strike in. And I'm not saying they're wrong moves, but it looks like earlier swordsmanship was, instead of 45 degrees on and with steps, it seems to be almost side on and with crab movements. So the idea here is you come in, somebody comes up, you block, move and cut, Or if it comes to it, you block, move and then strike in. Now, it obviously depends the distance. It says nothing about the footwork. It says nothing about the type of strike. It literally just says he's coming down, there's a two-handed attack or two-handed strike. We know the school uses a wakizashi, and it says it's a fast parry and you strike afterwards. So basically, and then it's got the picture of the sword in that position, then the sword in that position. So if you then reenact it, the sword is in that position, but you can see it's almost mune or flat. It doesn't have to be, so the mune, guys, is this bit, the back of the sword, or the flat of the sword. Now we've experimented, I'll talk about this in a minute, we've experimented that way, but the picture clearly shows it's like an emergency move. Now this is a katana, so it's a bit too long for this trick. It's meant to be a short one, but it's block to stop the strike down, because sometimes you can't get offline. It's just block, turn, and then you're in. But what I'll do now is I'm going to go through Nick's and talk over Nick's stuff so that we can have a go. Let me know what you think in the comments below and follow this playlist for Muhyoshi Ryu. Right guys, I'm now going to take you to Bob Aldis Bushido Martial Arts Dojo, Kazin Dojo, and I'm going to be there in November. So if anybody wants to train with me in November 2024, the details are in the pinned comment of this video. Right guys, it wasn't easy to get to here, so we're in, this is Nick on the right there, and this is the dojo I'm going to be doing my seminar in I think the 30th of November 2024, so I'll be here giving a lecture, lessons on all of these sword skills. But what Nick's been doing for me in the background, thankfully, he's been going through all the different variations. Now you may have noticed at the beginning, some people like Johnny Brown had a reverse hold on his wakizashi, and going for a stab or a reverse cut for the neck, if you like, or it must be a stab. We've got people using the wakizashi the right way around. It doesn't say what you should or shouldn't do, so people are experimenting. Nick's been experimenting with reversing because it is a medieval drawing and it's difficult to fully understand the system. We've looked at the Mune, basically we've looked at it where you twist your arm out so the thumb twists out away from you. So imagine your thumb twisting to the right outwards, and that puts the Mune on the back. Then we've imagined it with the knuckles twisting inwards to put the Mune in a different position on a different side. Remember, you can block with the flat as well. It doesn't say Mune in the text, but it looks like it's the Mune. But just for ease, we've said the back of the blade. But most likely, it's partly the flat, partly the Mune. But the idea is you don't get a big dirty crack in your sword, and hopefully you'll break their sword on yours. But Nick's been looking at the different, whether you put it on the strong of the sword, which is, or the weak, which is the bit near the hilt, the strong of the sword, and then when you're bringing it round. Now remember, these are, you can't get a technique perfect. A lot of people discuss and describe trying to get the perfect technique, i.e. you move off here, you move at this angle. That's just not the case. The idea here is that somebody's coming down, or what we believe from the text is somebody's coming down with a double-handed strike quick, and you've got to quickly stop it, and you just thumb out, break it with, or block it with on the strong, the bit near the hilt, with the flat of the blade or the back of the blade, so that you can catch it, and then you spin it out of the way and then cut and kill them. And it's probably a very quick, very difficult technique to do. And if you can get off the side, that's great if you can. But here we've found Nick experimenting with different places where the sword is going to hit him and how to come in from that angle, whether to use the left back or the right back, or the right flat, sorry, or the left flat. So Nick's been experimenting with all this and doing really well. But we've had again Johnny Brown, and we've had Jeff, and we've had Krista, and we've had these people, and we've had Nick Hurst from Neil Hurst from England, near me. All of this has been going really well, and as I said, we cannot guarantee this is perfectly how it was done, but we think from the best of our research, this is the closest we have come. So I do reserve the right to possibly change it if we find details later on, but I must let you know that we've actually got multiple scrolls from different times, but the founder of the head of the family, Mr. Hagihara-san, he is basically saying we should only use the family scrolls because he knows he's tracked the other scrolls and they start to add moves and add different things. So we know things started to be added, and by, you know, the school still technically exists, but everything's changed so much that they're not like the original techniques. So from all of our investigation and looking forward to, or looking through the text, it appears that this is the most realistic version we can get, and I'll show that, well, the most realistic version at the end. We'll go back to it. So here Nick is experimenting where to hit, how to block, doing it with wooden swords, and how, and they see he'll get hit on the head if he's not got it right, if he's not got it properly in the right position. So he's been doing all that because it's very, once that strong strike comes in, it will catch your head if you are not right with it. And we're going to experiment with this in November, so come and train with me. So if you're going to give it a go, guys, I want you to just follow this as a very sort of easy step-by-step way to do it. And what you're going to do is literally your person will attack and you're going to block. Have you noticed it's thumb up? Look at Krista's thumb up, Mune out. You can even go with a flat, we don't mind. Then you spin down, and it's, so tip goes left, thumb goes right. Then tip goes right. After that, watch, tip left, tip right, okay? So there you go. So let's watch again. So you see the tip is left and Krista's thumb is pointing up and to the right. Then what will happen, she's going to block with the Mune or the flat. Again, it doesn't matter. Mune is perfect, but at least if you get the flat. So this block goes up and then you twist so the tip goes the opposite way, and this will push the sword out of the way. Do you understand? This is the twist she's doing. So make sure you have a go at this. And I hope, guys, you give it a go and let me show any videos, or show me any videos you make. You can help keep this research going, guys, by getting a copy of the Book of Bushido, which is now on Audible.